Welcome back to another episode of Graps and Yaps. This is your go-to podcast for everything that is pro wrestling, where we are going to recap what's happened inside and outside of the ring from the last week. And whether you are a lifelong fan like us, or you're just a victim of the wrestling algorithm, we thank you for being here. We hope you enjoy. I'm Phil Fresh, one half of the show, and part of the show is, seeing everything across the board, whether it's inside or outside of the ring. I saw a clip, it was a local promotion, maybe somewhere down in Wollongong. And I've never seen this before in a game of footy, but I saw an X thrown up down in Kiama. Someone got hurt. I don't know if it's a work or if it's a shoot, but here to tell us more about it, the man himself, Tony Free. What happened, mate? Is this part of the storyline or?
Well, I'm currently in a moon boot, so went over on the ankle on Saturday. I did manage to finish the game though, so I played, probably another 35, 40 minutes afterwards, and then as soon as I, stopped running, it just blew up, and it was nice and purple and swollen. So I went and saw the doctor yesterday. He said, "Oh, you should have got an X-ray straight away," but I'll do that today, and then hopefully, I don't think it's broken, but I think it's more ligament damage more than anything else. But on the sidelines for a little bit.
I heard you were meant to win the Rumble later this year at the start of next year. So hopefully this doesn't affect those plans, Tony.
It might work into my storyline, so no one expects me at all now because they think I'm injured for the next. I'll say it's a 9-month injury, and then I make a surprise appearance that no one will see coming and shock the world. It's what we do.
It's what we do, and we also know that you do own a black hoodie and a balaclava. So, guys, watch this space. If there's another suspicious member of the bloodline, I think I know who I'm putting my money on. Tony Free, sad to hear. Nothing but well wishes and a speedy recovery for you. But I'm glad that you made it here for another week of yaps about graps. Obviously, we're going to be getting into Saturday night's main event, Raw and SmackDown as well, plus some outside of the ring news. But I also just want to bring to the table just a little bit about me. I've been watching old TNA matches recently. There was a Dark Side of the Ring about TNA and Jeff Jarrett. Have you gotten around to this yet, Tony?
No, I didn't know there was another. Is it a new season of Dark Side of the Ring?
I think this must have dropped like a few weeks ago. But it's a real breakdown on Jeff Jarrett and I guess him. I guess his career in WCW and WWF to then creating TNA. It's a really because we didn't really get TNA here in Australia. I just remember seeing clips of it.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch it late at night. It might have been on it might have been on Fox 8. But like on a weekday. I
remember getting clips of like just before TNA when it was like NWA TNA. And because I vividly remember seeing Ron Killings, like, he still looks the same, by the way. He looks exactly the same. But he was in a match. I can't remember who it was. But this is before they went to the 6-sided ring. So I do, you're right. I do remember seeing clips of it. But when it came to like, that peak, like 2006, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, TNA, like I don't really remember watching it on TV. Only seeing it on YouTube. But man, strongly recommend, especially the people listening, like just have it on in the background. Because I've been having it on in the background watching like, hearing, is it Mike Tenay and Don West on the horn, on the board, Christian.
Peak TNA was good. The main event.
Man, it really was. It really was, man. Do you have like any fond memories?
I think when Kurt Angle went across there for the first time, that was cool because he was doing some crazy shit. He was like, I think he like moonsaulted off the top of a cage or something at one point. It was like, man, no regard for his body whatsoever. This is Perk Angle at this time, but no, TNA
as we all remember.
I actually really enjoyed it. Like, it didn't have like the same like hullabaloo of what was happening in WWE at the time, but like the in-ring wrestling was crazy. I remember just like watching it when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like,
literally, man.
I probably didn't realize at the time that it wasn't WWE. I just thought it was all the same thing. With just different people. But I was like, I remember when I was a kid, I remember like staying up one night or a few nights, and just like I'm watching it, and like, oh, this is cool. Like I like this.
Man, even do you remember, was it Suicide? That gimmick?
Oh, I can't remember that now.
Really? No, because I remember I had like the TNA game and like he was like the focus of
I
it. It was
think what
like
drew me in though
full
was like all
covered, like with
the
the mask.
it was all like the ex WWE WWF guys, like because
Yeah,
I'd watched them, and then when they came across, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can watch this. This is cool because it's like I know these people. So
definitely.
no, it was yeah, good times watching TNA.
Yeah, man. Strongly recommend just chucking on an old, TNA lockdown or something like that in the background. That 2005 to like 2007, maybe, 8 or 9. Solid stuff. And then also watch Dark Side of the Ring too, because that's a solid watch for my yappers out there. And speaking of things to add to the watch list, Unreal Season 3 dropped 2 days ago on Netflix. I've already finished it, Tony Free. What are your thoughts?
I
I can't
haven't
remember.
started.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, I haven't started. So well, it came out Tuesday
Yeah, that's right.
this week. Yeah. So yeah, I've been a busy boy this week, and got a few things to manage, especially with my ankle here. So hopefully, when I get some downtime, which probably won't be until next week,
What?
then I'll start watching it. Yeah, I'm booked out, but
Isn't the whole point of you being hurt is to rest and recover?
it just gives me time to do the other things, which I do anyway. But I can just spend more time on the other things. So, like Saturday, I'm going to be out, and then Sunday, me and Flick are away in the Blue Mountains, so I won't be,
Wow.
using that time to watch wrestling documentaries. So, yeah, it'll be on the back burner until next week.
And I know that isn't, you're trying to act like a good partner, acting like, this is your decision. But I know for sure that this is Flick's doing. She said no wrestling while we're away, Tony.
No John Cena, because she's already fed up. Whenever she sees John Cena on TV at the moment, she's like, he said he was retiring, and he's already on TV. This is bullshit. My
She's
best
got a
Flick
point.
impersonation.
Yeah, she doesn't sound like that, but she'll listen to this later and she'll have a word. But I agree with her, man. I mean, one of the big focus points on this new season is obviously that ending of the farewell tour. It picks up just after SummerSlam. We see some stuff about Crown Jewel, the WrestlePalooza of it all. Here's my thing about John Cena. That guy, if it already wasn't televised and publicized, it is confirmed that guy is a freak. He is a robot. Like genuinely, the way he talks about stuff or the way he interacts with his colleagues backstage, he is a robot, man. Like I like John Cena. This is not like a John Cena slander thing, but it's genuinely. I'm like, you're so odd, man. You're such a strange bloke. Like I just remember when he's talking about the whole heel turn thing and him talking about and what's the best way to do this is by making everything suck. I'm like, no, it's not. Like that really, yeah, it really took me back to that, last year when we were watching it all unfold, just being,
Hating
what
it.
the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, he wasted so much time for months there. So
Seriously.
not a bit of a
Yeah.
watch, but I did see little clips of like of Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona. I think those two, like from the 1 minute clips that I've seen, those two need their own show.
Yeah, honestly, they deserve it. Chelsea Green again, as per usual, being the star of whenever she's in front of a camera, and that's what it was in Unreal Season 3. Yeah, again, and introducing Matt Cardona, there was a fun moment where like Matt's like, they built their new house and they've got like a room
The toy
dedicated to
collection.
all. Yeah. And he's just going through that. And so there's like a whole scene on that. Very funny stuff. So yeah, definitely add that to the rotation. Keen to hear your thoughts when you get around to it, Tony Free. The other thing that I just saw was Sheamus. Obviously we know his contract is set to expire with WWE, set to be a free agent, and the date has been dropped October 1st. I did have a little sticky beak at AEW pay-per-views and stuff. There's nothing around, on that date specifically. So it'll be in between PLEs, but yeah, definitely one to watch and something to keep on the calendar there. Sheamus is, we haven't really been seeing, neither have we been seeing anything on the New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. So I really wonder what's going on there. Have you seen anything about that?
No, I did see that Xavier was coming out to Australia for like a gaming convention or something. That's about all I've seen at the moment that he's doing.
Really?
Yeah, I think I just saw that yesterday or the day before. So they announced he's coming out. So maybe he might, find his way into a ring while he's here. I don't know when that convention is, but I know that World Series Wrestling is out in October or November. So
Something like that.
maybe he's on that tour as well. I don't know. We'll see. But well, like speaking of, like apparently Bailey now is on the way out as well. So yeah, it's another one. Imagine, if you told anyone what a couple of years ago that you'd have the New Day, Sheamus, Bailey. I can't remember who else has left recently, but like just names like that. It's crazy to
Yeah.
think that they're gone and could be competing in another promotion.
It has been getting a bit of steam, that yarn about Bailey, which, we saw her, lose to Lyra Valkyria Saturday night's main event. She's obviously busy doing the Lodestone stuff as well. I don't know how, credible, all that chat on the internet is from previous experience. Not so much, not as trustworthy, but it would be a shame to see Bailey let go. But as much as it'd be a shame, but it would also be really exciting. In the same way that I think, with the New Day and Sheamus, it's like, damn, you didn't think you'd see them go, but seeing them outside of the WWE and doing other things is like, it's just as exciting. So yeah, I guess another one to watch as the weeks go on. But let's get straight into the recap of the week. Again, like I said, SmackDown and Raw and Saturday night's main event in the Garden, Madison Square Garden. Big show, big New York feel on that show. And the only reason why, I guess the main reason why I had a big New York feel was because it featured two of the prominent stars of the New York Knicks NBA championship team. Let's start with Cathausen, Karl Anthony Towns, and the Danhausen of it all there, Tony Free.
Look, I'm gonna have to be honest here. I actually did not watch Saturday night's main event. So all
my
I've seen,
days.
all I've seen out of this is whatever was replayed on Raw this week. So I guess I probably got like a pretty good indication of what happened because they just kept showing like all the nicks of it all and everything. So I think I've got a good account there of what's going on. But I'll be honest, it was never a show that I was going to rush to watch, and then especially when I did my ankle, that was not what I was going to be doing on Sunday.
Yeah, look, we'll give you a pass because you have, you have hurt yourself there. So we'll give you a pass this week. But mate, if you ever come back onto a wrestling podcast, Grubs and Yams, saying you haven't watched the wrestling.
But just on this, like Saturday night's main event, remember when they brought it back like a couple of years ago? It was such like a big deal. Yeah, it just feels like it's a glorified house show. I feel like
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Yes. Yes, there's it's the in between, the PLEs of Raw. So I understand where you're coming from.
I didn't care about,
but especially
one
as of
match that was
late,
on there.
especially as of late, it has lost its touch, I think. But yeah, look, the house show of it all, the Cathausen, Danhausen defeating JD McDonough, and what was obviously going to be, kind of a really entertaining match. It wasn't going to be too much wrestling at it. I thought it was fun. But the big pop was, Karl Anthony Towns coming out of the cloning machine, choke slamming both JD McDonough and Dom Mysterio, and also doing the You Are Cursed of it all.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, man, to come out of that.
I thought when I don't know if it was on Raw or SmackDown last week.
When they had the stuffed
Danhausen
cat?
had the cat. Yes,
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, well,
I didn't even think
this. I go, well, I know where this is going. He did great, to be honest. The choke slams looked solid. I mean, most of that, a portion of that was, to do with JD and Dom selling that. But I thought it was a fun moment. This then leads into the main event segment. And let me tell you, glaze fest. Absolute glaze fest. There was a glazing competition between Roman Reigns and Jalen Brunson.
This was not a good look.
Basically, just quickly, just in case you missed any of the details, Roman Reigns invites Jalen Brunson on Twitter. And then the last segment, which is them, Jalen Brunson is walking through the tunnels and they're showing highlights of the NBA season this year and, his performances. Roman meets him at Gorilla. They come out. They do the one-up. Obviously, you know how long the entrances go. It goes on for way longer than it should. And then it turns into like Roman Reigns absolutely glazing Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. Now, obviously, like they have a relationship. You know, Jalen Brunson has said before he has a handshake where they do the one up. But man, this dragged on for ages, man.
And it was the last segment.
It was the last segment. That was the main event.
Why wouldn't they kick that off? Like, why wasn't the tag match going last? Like the one with Cody and Punk. Why did what? That's strange. So this is why I made the right decision in skipping this show.
I think the reason why this went last was because what happened afterwards. So Roman Reigns gives him a New York Knicks custom championship, and then Seth Rollins' music hits, and they're waiting for someone to come out, and then Tyrese Halliburton comes out.
See, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, sure, that's great. All right, he walks down the ramp. Seth Rollins blindsides Roman from behind. And the I think the reason why this wasn't as strong as it could have been is because Jalen Brunson is clearly hurt. He's got a cast on his arm. Yes, he's got a cast. So he's like awkwardly, while this is all going down, he's like awkwardly standing in the ring, looking at Seth and looking at Tyrese and then Roman who's on the ground, and like trying to like act like he's gonna do something, but obviously he's not because he's hurt. It was really awkward, unfortunately, man. Like I wanted this to be good, but it just wasn't.
This is why it should have opened the show rather than closing it. Like I
agree.
It's a strange one. Especially for a Glaze Fest.
Glaze Fest 2026. It went down. So yeah, I would say that was the really anticlimactic and really underwhelming finish. And also, I guess it kind of reflects on really badly now on this SummerSlam main event between Roman and Seth. Again, the celebrities getting involved, and you kind of see this in Unreal too. But the celebrity involvement is, you know, there is a right way to do it, and there is obviously a bad way to do it. And I think more often than not, it's just missing the mark, unfortunately.
We're not getting Tyrese and Jalen Brunson coming out of SummerSlam, are we? Surely not. Surely that's
I
it.
don't think no more we do. No, I think from a business standpoint, as an NBA, you know, if I was like the franchise owner,
we do.
If I was like a coach or a coaching staff or franchise owner, I'm going, hell no, you're not doing this shit. Stay your ass at home. Sit down. You know what I mean? But yeah, the celebrity involvements, it's as of late as well, it's just been not doing well. Especially when it's a main event match in Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. How do you feel about the build thus far?
I mean, like, other than that, it's been great. And I didn't mind what happened on Raw this week as well. So, like, I've liked the build because you actually don't really need to do too much. Like, I think that's the beauty of it. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate this. This is, like, we know what the history is. We've been watching it play out, like, all this time. We're not stupid. Like, unless you're like fresh and new to the WWE, maybe. But like, they're running enough of these like video packages in between, like with the history of the Shield and everything. So like, everybody's up to speed here of what's happening. We don't need to go over the top with this. Like, you can literally just have them look at each other for 2 minutes, and then that's all you need in a week. Like, we don't have to overdo it. And yeah, maybe this little celeb glazing part, a little bit over the top, but I can see what they're trying to do here, and it's, you know, get that that cross culture audience in there, and, you know, spread their wings a little bit. But I think, yeah, going into SummerSlam, I think it's going to be they got a face off next week, I think, but I'm not expecting like anything crazy to happen before the main event, because I want it to happen. Happen before SummerSlam, because I want it to happen, you know, at the PLE. So I'm not going to complain about how this build's been, because we don't need to do anything crazy.
Well, another element has been added, you know, just on Raw with Solo Sikoa. Obviously, he's got that tag match with LA Knight and Royce Keys against the Bloodline and the Usos and Jacob Fatu. But Solo Sikoa comes out on Raw, just interrupts the show, and he basically offers to watch Seth's back come SummerSlam, because he's the only one outside of the Bloodline that is really against the Bloodline. I think that's an interesting part. You know, you were saying about don't overcomplicate it. I agree, but this does play an interesting role, Solo Sikoa of it all. What are your thoughts heading into that? Do you see where this might be going?
it's interesting. I am like, what's his real motive here? That's what I'm
Mm.
kind of. It's good because it's making me question it and second guess things. So like, I'm like, oh, is Solo really trying to help, like help dethrone Roman here, or is he like running a side mission and it's going to be like a double turn or something where he sides with Roman? I
Yeah.
don't know. Um, yes, I think it's good that now I'm asking myself those questions after watching Raw this week. So it's yeah, it's interesting because when we look back at like the history of Roman and Solo, obviously Solo when he was in the Bloodline, very different character. It was kind of like that enforcer, never said anything. As soon as he left, he became this charismatic, funny guy who was still obsessed with like being a guy in power. So like, how does that dynamic now fit if he was to go back to Roman? That's another interesting watch. But yeah, I just feel like there's got to be something else here to this with Solo Sikoa all of a sudden, offering to help someone like Seth Rollins.
What did you think of LA Knight's promo just before the main event of Raw? Did you think it was just as good? Was it better? Or was it worse than that promo he cut against Seth last week or 2 weeks ago?
I like all this LA Knight stuff. I like these promos. I like LA Knight. I'm never gonna like trash anything he's doing. And again, this guy's telling the truth. So, but like for LA Knight, I don't know where the hell this is going for him after this. Like it's already a random ass tag match that he's involved in. Um, yeah, I don't really have high hopes for where LA Knight's going unless they're putting him in that spot to win the Money in the Bank. But it's
Mm.
I'm gonna say like what we saw on Raw with like the everybody getting involved in the Jacob LA Knight match. It doesn't get me more interested in this tag match whatsoever. I still think it should be, maybe the match on SmackDown the night before.
Yeah, it's still, I think, it'll be a fine match, but yeah, your assessment of it is fair, and I agree with it. Just going back to the Danhausen of it all, just to put a bow on it, we do see some more developments between the Judgment Day and Danhausen. Obafemi, there's a nice little funny backstage moment between Obafemi, Joe Hendry, Danhausen, and Adam Pearce, a whole lot of it. And then we get a match confirmed for SummerSlam, Danhausen against Dom Mysterio.
Another one that probably didn't need to end up on SummerSlam, but here we are.
So random, right?
I guess like they're so top heavy on the matches on SummerSlam, so like you kind of just need to fill out the rest of, especially now that we're 2 nights, we are going to get some of these random matches. Considering like there are a lot of superstars unavailable at the moment with injury and whatnot, so yeah, I guess they're going to have to fill some time on these shows, and like it's going to be like don't get me wrong, Danhausen and Dom, I'm sure it's going to be like fun as hell, but like it's not like I can't wait for this match. It's just going to be what it is, and I'm sure we'll love it anyway.
I saw a lot of people on the internet, complaining about, wow, this guy was, he was defending his Intercontinental Championship against John Cena last year. Rah, rah, rah. I'm like, guys, you guys got to stop being so dramatic. And like, Danhausen is like one of the biggest names in the company right now. The merch is up the wazoo. He's obviously got that relationship with the Knicks. I'm like, this isn't a bad spot. So everyone just take a chill pill, please.
Well, like I had that thought as well. Like the exact same thought. Like, Dom was only in matches with John Cena, like 8 months ago. Yeah, a bit of a weird turn, but yeah, like you have to do something with Danhausen because he's so hot right now. So it makes sense to give him a match on SummerSlam, and Dom's easy to generate heat against. To generate heat with. So I guess it makes sense. But like, yeah. I'm just not sure if I wanted to see the Judgment Day continuing to get involved with all this.
I have a question that has just popped into my head, a bit of a tangent. What's the go with Ilya Dragunov? Did he get hurt? Or is it something else?
I couldn't tell you. I honestly
haven't
don't
seen
know.
anything.
I feel like ever since he
Nothing's
lost the belt,
come
he's
out of
disappeared.
That's real unfortunate. He was having a moment, especially coming back from that long-term injury. So someone investigate that, all right? If you're listening right now, DM us. Let us know at Gruffs and Yaps what the hell's going on there. Speaking of injuries, Rhea Ripley announced on SmackDown that she is hurt. I think it was a meniscus or something like that. So she won't be able to compete at SummerSlam. So instead, we're getting a ladder match for that championship. It's going to be an interim championship match. We saw two people qualified already, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. That was on SmackDown. Bit of something's in the water, eh? What's going on, Tony Free?
I found it interesting that they let Rhea hold on to the belt because they're usually very quick to make them relinquish it. So, like, I'm wondering what's the plan here. I suppose Rhea really hasn't done anything since she won the belt. So, and because she's such a big name, I guess like they just wanted to hold, that kind of draw to the title. Because let's be honest, like we've just seen Jade and Tiffany go through and qualify for the ladder match. You can kind of argue that we don't really need to see them in the match either. So I think what it highlights is like outside of Rhea Ripley, like what's actually there in the WWE women's title picture at the moment, because all those girls have had turns with the title already. We're not seeing anything new. So yeah, it's interesting that we're doing an interim champion, and then they'll face Rhea to be the undisputed champion in a few months' time.
So, I have a question for you. Can you explain this for me? The interim champion. So does that mean they are actually the champion, or they are like a fake champion until they beat the actual champion?
They're a real champion. They do this in the UFC a lot, like when there's injuries and they have to. That's what they do. They crown an interim champion. So literally, you have two people that both have belts, and then
that seems so silly to me.
You put them against each other, and then you find out who your real champion is. It's very TKO.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Going back to what you're saying about what names do we have outside of Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill? Look, we've spoken to it about it at length. Here we go.
It's Chelsea Green.
Now that is an interesting proposition. But I always this is like us talking about Chelsea Green is like me talking about my South Sydney Rabbitohs like making the finals. It's always like there, but I'd never see it happen. It's so like it kills me. That's the hope that kills you, is what they say.
I guess so, but like so Chelsea's been in this little like partnership with Tiffany at the moment.
Yes.
Have they announced who's in these matches next week for this ladder match? Is Chelsea in one of them?
I'm not too sure. The qualifying matches as well. I'm like, I just my thing. Let's stop doing qualifying matches. It should be up to the general manager, all the fans to decide who's in. Who qualifies for these matches. We don't need qualifying matches anymore. Stop it. Enough. Move on.
Let's just have 10. Let's just have 10 women in the ladder match to begin with, rather than 5. Let's just have 10 in there, so we don't have these qualifying matches.
Yeah, it should be the people and the general manager that decides who's in the match. Yeah, Nick Otis, I know you're busy.
It's a 5-woman ladder match, but yeah, I don't know who's in the qualifying match. I can't remember if I've seen anything, but like I would. It would be great if Chelsea Green finds her way in the match and climbs the ladder and wins.
What about a Becky Lynch? We haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. She doesn't really have much going on. Could we see her sliding into that spot?
I mean, that would make sense as well. Or is it just going to be the SmackDown girls? That's the thing. Or will they just make her change brand? I don't know. Probably not. While Seth's,
I could see. I don't see why not. Yeah, true. Actually, there's that real aspect,
the family part of it. So. Maybe it's just.
What about Stephanie Vaquer?
Well, you'd expect her to go after Liv when she comes back.
Yes,
really.
There's still unfinished business. Yeah,
there's a lot of they took a Judgment Day took Stephanie Vaquer out, so they have to wrap that up. So I can't see Stephanie going to SmackDown in the meantime. But yeah, so like if there's 5, so there's 3 spots remaining in that ladder match. Who goes in?
Charlotte. I'll add Alexa in there.
Wait, Charlotte has a match this week. So who is she against?
Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you.
Lee.
But I would say Charlotte, Alexa, and let's add in. You know who I'm going to add in there? Why don't we just add in Paige?
Even though she's in the has one of the tag titles at the moment, would you not just have her defending the belt, those belts at SummerSlam instead?
Tony Free, I forgot. You didn't watch Saturday night's main event. She's not a champion anymore. Yes.
What?
Fatal Influence are the new tag champions.
No way. I didn't even see. I swear they didn't even touch on that.
Come on, man.
They didn't even show a replay of that on Raw this week.
Yeah, they didn't actually. Well, I think they'll show it on SmackDown for sure. But yes, Brie Bella and Paige are no longer the tag champions.
Wait, what happened?
So
how'd they lose?
Well, it was just a numbers game. It was the numbers game. JC Jane on the outside doing her business. So, it wasn't clean per se, but yeah, it's official. New tag champs, Fatal Influence, Fallon Henry, and name who I'm forgetting.
Wow. Maybe we'll get okay, so for the ladder match, I don't think we get Paige. I think there's still a little bit there with, Nikki Bella to come back eventually, things like that. But Blake Monroe has been involved in almost everything.
Oh, that's a good one.
Blake Monroe has to go in the ladder match. I think I don't think she's had a match yet on the main roster, so this will be a great way to bring her in and show that she's a big deal.
Great shout. I also want to add in, just because we've been seeing them on TV way more often, Candice LeRae. There was a moment backstage between CM Punk and Johnny Gargano and Candice, and Punk basically says, whatever the hell this is, it's not working. Basically trying to remind them who they are. So maybe there's a bigger play there where, we get Gargano and Candice LeRae back in the ring, and maybe Candice LeRae gets added to the ladder match. What do you think?
I don't know, man. They've tried so many times with Candice to get her doing different things and trying to make her interesting, but it just doesn't sell. I don't know what it is. The audience does not connect to it for some reason. And as good as she is, tactically and everything in the ring, she's not in that caliber of of Julia right now, or the Charlottes, the Blake Monroes, Chelsea's. Yeah, she's a few notches below.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. But I do like the Blake Monroe. Well, she actually attacked Candice LeRae last week on SmackDown.
Yeah, but she's also attacked. She's attacked Chelsea. She's attacked Julia. She's attacked. I can't remember her name now. Julia's assistant for a little while there.
Kiana James.
So, she's on the tear.
She's got to have one of the most interesting main roster debuts in quite some time, because she kind of debuted a few weeks ago, but then we didn't see her for a bit, and we've only ever seen her kind of in backstage.
I think she had a match when they had that show in London.
She did.
That was her first main roster match, and yeah, she's just been.
You know what I mean? It is quite backstage. It's really disjointed, and
I think what kind of goes against her there is that SmackDown's only a 2-hour show at the moment, so you can't give her a match every week in the ring because there's such limited time. So she's just making most of these, 30-second, 60-second cameos backstage where she attacks people, and that's probably progressing her story and her character development a lot more than a 5-minute match would in the ring.
I'm so glad that SmackDown is back to being 2 hours again. Far out.
Hey, it's going to be 3 soon again.
What?
I think in January it goes back to 3 hours on the road to WrestleMania. I know. I can't.
What?
It's going to be hell. It's going to be disgraceful. I can't. Oh, it's going to be torture.
Why do they keep changing it?
I don't know. You know what the best part is? When you watch SmackDown on, if you're not watching it live, if you watch back in, the replay, it's an hour and 20 minutes. It's great.
Yeah,
cut all those commercials out. Hour 20. I think Raw was under 2 hours as well when you cut all that crap out. But you miss all the fun little Rusev interviews. But yeah, 1 hour 20 SmackDown on replay. That's what you want. And
you know what There you go, guys. Here's some tips. Some tips on grab TF from TF.
I love my subtitles.
No, you can't be a captions guy. You can't.
I watch everything with subtitles on.
No, man. You got to stop doing that. It's bad for you.
No, I love it. Because otherwise I need to watch things twice to really zone in on what they said. If it's there, it's just so much easier.
No way, TM. You can't. So, I mean, how do you feel when you go to the cinemas and you watch a movie? How does that situation?
Well, I think it's easy because like when I'm in the cinema, I'm fucking locked in. Like the room's dark. The only thing I'm looking at is a screen. When I'm at home or anything, like there's so many distractions. Bit too much light.
Oh
you know.
my goodness.
I have like my mind gets distracted like so easily. I'm probably like have a tinge of ADHD in there somewhere. So, but like when I'm at the movies though, just I'm fucking focused in, I get zoned in, got my screen. There's nothing else happening.
Do you not feel this is how I feel? Like when I'm watching something and there's captions on, like I'm really, I feel like I'm not watching the rest of it. I'm just reading the captions. So that's why I'm like, I've got to stop. Like I'll just turn the volume up and just pay attention.
No,
that's my thing about captions. Like
I'll turn it up and have the subtitles on.
Okay, well, so I think you got to get your vision and your hearing checked.
Hey, I've been watching the whole like, so I'm almost, so I've watched. Me and Flick have been watching The Sopranos. We're literally on the last episode, but we've been like,
oh, how good!
We've been holding off on watching the last episode because we don't want it to be over. But we've been watching the whole thing with subtitles on, and it's been great because that's the best way to like learn all the funny quotes when you've literally got it there, like spelled out for you. Especially like when they're throwing words out there, like the more Italian stuff you haven't really heard, like gabagool, when they say things like that.
Yes,
it helps having the subtitles there.
You know, it's a classic. One of my favorite things to say from the Sopranos show is "Oh, Maro."
That and he was an interior decorator.
You know, when that peak Bloodline, you know, that 2021, whatever, back in the day was going down, like a lot of similarities to like, I remember when I was watching with my mate Matt, you know, when we were living together, we were going through The Sopranos and obviously watching wrestling as well. And this was when the Bloodline was going on. And I would use Sopranos characters to explain the dynamics
Soprano between. Is Roman.
Well, obviously Tony is Roman, and then who's
Christopher is it Shay, I guess, in a way.
No, I think.
Oh, you reckon Sil?
Who, I can't remember. Okay, so who are so you've got Christopher as the nephew, but then who are the other? Is it Sil and
Paulie? Paulie's got like the slick back with the wings.
Paulie, I think, is Jay. I think Paulie is Jay.
Oh, the funny guy. Yeah.
Paulie is Jay. Sil, who's like pretty level-headed. Am I getting those names right?
Yeah, Sil, Paulie.
Sil is Jimmy. Christopher might be. Who's Christopher? Is it Solo? Or is it Sammy? It might be Sammy. Christopher is Sammy for sure. And then who's maybe Paul? Who's Heyman? Shit, I gotta look up the characters now.
I was gonna say, would he be
Who's
Uncle
Heyman?
June? Would he be an Uncle June?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Potentially, I can see that. I think there's a play for that. Who is the Carmella of WWE? I'm trying to think. Who was that?
Roman's never really had like an on-screen girlfriend, so
no. I think outside of the bloodline though, like who is that? Who plays that role? Like strong lead. You know, doesn't take shit from anyone. Maybe, I guess, Rhea. Oh, I'd also say like Becky Lynch, maybe.
Turns a blind eye to all the bad things that happen.
Maybe Becky Lynch.
And benefits from it all.
Yeah, maybe. All right, tangent. We've gone on a big tangent. Let's get back on track. I did enjoy the conversation, though.
See, I have to watch the last episode of Sopranos before I start watching Unreal.
Okay, we'll get that done, mate. Come on now. Sort it out. You've got all this time.
You know, while we're away.
No. Oh, wait, maybe it's Sopranos. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that sounds awesome, actually. No fucking ziti? Okay, now let's get back on track, Tony Free. Stop talking about Sopranos, man. We could talk an hour about this. Saturday night's main event. You may have missed this. Maybe you didn't. But obviously there was the tag match. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk against Gunther and Sammy. The stipulation was if Gunther and Sammy win, then they're in that title match and make it a fatal four-way.
Which they were never winning.
Well, I think there was an option. There was a percentage. There was a chance that they could have won it.
They announced that, and I was like, they're not winning, so I'm not interested in this match.
Well, what are your thoughts on how it finished? Nick Aldis costing Gunther the match. What do you think about that?
I mean, that was kind of, it felt like that was going to be the case. The
But did you
Aldis was,
like it?
I'll say no, because I don't need Nick Aldis having a match with Gunther at SummerSlam.
I thought you were on the Nick Aldis train. I kind of was. I thought I was the one who was being like, "Why the hell would I care about this?"
I think I don't know. Now that it's official,
You've changed. You've changed sides.
I think now that it's official, I'm like, oh, what does this mean? Where do we go from here? I don't know. Like, if anything, if we're applying logic, Nick Aldis should be going after Randy Orton.
Nah, no way. I think if we're adding logic,
Yeah, this
to
man
that,
had like four
Nick Aldis is
RKOs
smart
off
to
Randy
not mess with Randy Orton. Actually, he's a name that we haven't. Maybe he can get chucked into that women's ladder match. Look, yeah, I'm with you that we don't really know where this Nick Aldis Gunther stuff is going. I do think that there will be some stakes, introduced come SmackDown this week. I think it has to be, like I said last week, if he loses, he's not the general manager anymore, and he is, he just goes backstage as a non, on TV role, and he just does that. But I think that has to be the stake there, like especially for Gunther, because why, unfortunately, he hasn't really been doing too much since retiring John Cena and AJ Styles. So he needs something big here, and maybe that'll give him some heat. But yeah, I don't really know what this means for Gunther. What do you think this means for Sammy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea now. Yeah, I thought like maybe
do you
he
see
might be
him
linked
playing
to
into the bloodline?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I think the fact that he's a SmackDown guy at the moment doesn't make me think that he will get pulled back across the Raw and involved with all of that. I think maybe like it'd be interesting if Sammy does win Money in the Bank and have him just lawyering around, Cody or CM Punk. I think it'll be CM Punk, but maybe that's what they have to do with him, is just give him the briefcase and just let him be a pest more than what he is now.
Yeah, he could hold that down, that spot for sure. Hopefully, you know what I'm hoping for? That after the SummerSlam is we get a reminder of what the hell's going on with the John Cena Classic. And
I
the stipulations
reckon,
apart from that.
I reckon they've dropped it. Like, I reckon they've 100% dropped it.
Well, yeah, they haven't spoken about it since they brought it up.
Like, oh no, fuck this, we're not doing this. Let's just pivot to something else. Because one thing I learned, they love their pivot. I haven't watched Unreal yet, but I did hear that Braun Breaker was supposed to win the Royal Rumble.
Well, my thing with that is that, that I don't think that means anything. Like, they probably sit in that room and they probably said 10 other names that, could win the Rumble. So, like, I wouldn't really hold too much of that. Yeah, when you watch it, you'll see, like, why that gets brought up. But, yeah, the John Cena Classic and what you were saying about how they quietly dropped it and why, he got some backlash, that again goes back to the Unreal and John Cena of it all, where he is just a freak, man. Like, he's AI. John Cena is AI at this point. He is talking to you like a chat, like the Chat GPT voices. And there is no soul behind those eyes. He is just like, I am here to work, and I'm going to work and do whatever my boss says. Like, which is so sad to talk about. I love John Cena, but man, this is just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, he's a strange individual, but it worked for him, so you can't knock it.
Yeah, but then you see like old clips of John Cena. Like, I saw one back. I think this was like 2006, maybe. It was a WWE Japan tour, and it's him and Eddie Guerrero talking about like having a Japanese, restaurant experience. And there's just so much more life there. He's cracking jokes. He's still kind of doing the rapper gimmick, so there's probably that to play as well. But that is an actual person in my eyes. Then you fast forward, you see him at Unreal, Yeah, you know what? The Rock still has it. He sold his soul to The Rock. He still has it. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, maybe.
Sad days, man. You hate to see your goats go out like this. What else have we? This has been a big tangent episode.
Well, did I miss anything else from Saturday night's main event? Considering I just learned that the tag titles have changed hands.
Yes, so we went over that. New tag champions. Lyra Valkyria defeated Bailey.
I did see that, all that fallout. So
that was a fun match. You know, those two.
Lyra
we
got
obviously
busted
know that
open.
she did. You know, we did see her also pop up during a commercial on Raw, talking with Sol Ruka, our friend of the show, WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Sol Ruka. And speaking of
Big
Sol,
yabba.
she is defending her title against Raquel Rodriguez next week. Any thoughts, any feelings about this?
Is next week's Raw the Raw before SummerSlam?
Yes, the thing.
Does that mean
SummerSlam is next weekend.
So Sol's not having a match on SummerSlam at this stage? If she's
At this stage, no.
So she's defending the belt on Raw. Looks like she's not getting a match on SummerSlam. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You'd think there'd be a spot, you know, over those 3 hours, but as we know, there's, you know, it's hard to get in those spots.
2 nights.
Oh, sorry, I mean in Raw, the Raw.
Oh, Raw.
Like,
Okay.
you know, get your little moments on Raw. Yeah, we're not getting that. So that happened on Saturday night's main event. I also wanted to just talk about, and maybe this will be a bigger discussion on To The Vision, but I watched Raw live. Right, I sat down watching the show. Obviously, there's similar, you know, usual start to the show where they get the shots of the wrestlers walking in backstage. Raw started this week with wrestling and a tag match. We saw Javon Evans and Dragon Lee tag against the Vision. And can I say, what a breath of fresh air. Like, it was so dope seeing them start a Raw like this. And I think it's just because we're so conditioned to like having one of the top stars come out and just yap on the mic for like 20 minutes. Maybe we're just so used to that that's why it was kind of like, wow, this is so refreshing. But I really enjoyed it, and I hope that they do that more often, especially when you have, you know, talents like Javon Evans and Dragon Lee, who are just going to come in and you just know they're just going to do, you know, the most fire and awesome spots ever. I really enjoyed how this Raw started, Tony Free. What do you think?
Yeah, I had the exact same thought. Like when, you know, they started the show, you see the people coming into the arena, and then Javon Evans' music hits. I was like, what the hell? Like this, we're not starting with a Bloodline segment or Seth Rollins or something like that. So yeah, it caught me off guard, and I definitely, you know, noticed that, you know, we're starting the show with wrestling tonight, which is different. So, yeah, it did make me realize though, that, like, we've been so conditioned to the usual starts to Raw, like, you know, being, you know, promo based or the same, you know, coming from the same circle of superstars. So yeah, nice change, nice refreshing change.
And it was a good. I really do like this tag between Javon and Dragon Lee. Like, you know, they haven't really tagged before, I don't think. And if they have, you know, it was a while ago. But I genuinely think that could be like a set thing going forward. You know, especially for Javon Evans, who obviously they have high hopes for. But there's just high hops. Oh,
he has high hopes.
Fire, well done, good catch. You know, there's an expectation there for him. And I think having him in a tag like this and just coming out week to week, just, you know, getting the crowd hot, doing these big spots, I just think that this would be a perfect spot for him. So, you know, if this is the tag team going forward, I really enjoy it. But the Vision eventually, you know, take out this tag team match. We do then see the Alpha Academy get involved. Otis and Tozawa, which, you know, maybe this is building to a tag match at SummerSlam, perhaps. But I think the big takeaway here is, I saw this clip floating around social media, was Austin Theory grabbing cheeks. Did you see this, TF?
He had 2 handfuls of cheek. I did notice. I saw this as well. It's a married woman.
Well, despite that, I still think they are so awkward. It is such an awkward, and
you can kind of see. Obviously,
like, it's 2 weeks.
Doing this.
Yeah, this is the second week or third week or whatever. This is still relatively new. So, I don't want to like sound like I'm, shitting on it out of the gates. But to me, it's just so obvious that this is so awkward. They are both, clearly trying to show, do their job, but then also in the back of their mind, they're like, but this is a fake relationship because I'm married and I love my significant other. It's so just like, come on.
You can tell acting is not their first,
Yes.
their first thing.
And it also it gave me a newfound, level of respect for what Liv and Dom do because they sell it so well, and I actually think that that's majority of that is Liv Morgan carrying that.
Trouble.
Golly. But yeah, the Austin Theory Maxine. Yeah, I hope they figure it out with the weeks to come. Maybe it's a sign for WWE to just, maybe next time if you want to do an on-screen couple, maybe you should do it with two single people. Actually, sorry, I knew you're about to say something, Tony Freak, but I just remembered something. Charlotte Flair did this interview, I think it was part of Fanatics Fest on the weekend, and the question was basically, what do you have left on the list of things that you want to do? And one of the things that she said was be in an on-screen relationship. Now let's play a game. Who do we pair Charlotte Flair with?
They could have done Andrade, but it didn't turn out well. But they could.
Let's talk about this.
Tozawa and Charlotte Flair would be box office.
Explain that. What do you mean?
You have like the most like alpha women's athlete on the roster, with little Tozawa, who's can be sometimes quiet as a mouse, but he can, really turn it on when he needs to. I think just that. I think because when that 24/7 belt was going around, who was Tozawa kind of attached to the hip with one of the female superstars? It's kind of like
was
that.
He?
I think he was. It's like that dynamic.
He was a ninja. They put him in the full ninja getup, from my memory.
But wasn't there like a female superstar who was always like kind of like pushing him around?
Was it Natalia or?
I can't remember.
Look that up. I have an idea. I do like
was it like Tamina or someone. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it was. That sounds familiar.
It might have been Tamina. So I think like that dynamic would be funny with the Charlotte Flair.
Can I see your Akira Tozawa. Can I raise you a Ricky Saints?
Ricky Saints and Charlotte Flair. That's two very big personalities.
I think that could be a great pairing. Especially the way Ricky Saints moves. Like, you could set them up and then just the payoff of like Charlotte Flair being like, I'm sick of your shit. And just like whooping him. Cinema. So especially because Ricky Saints isn't really doing too much. Speaking of relationships that weren't really, romantic relationships, but I did enjoy the Ethan Page Chelsea Green pairing from a few months ago.
Yeah, it made sense. Both Canadian.
That was perfect.
And, it was good.
And they're both
really
funny,
charismatic. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I think I was going to say before, Maxine. It kind of seems like her in-ring days might be on the shelf at the moment. It seems like she's more of like a valet more than anything. Like obviously she had that run as intercontinental champion when she was feuding with Becky. She had like that little rivalry with Natalia, which kind of didn't really hit like I thought it was going to. But yeah, now it seems like she's not actually wrestling. Does it seem like that for you?
Yeah, but I would say that it's still very early days. She's still, at kind of the beginning of her wrestling career too. So, and I think what's going to make her stay, if it's not the wrestling, it's definitely her work on camera. Like the way that she is selling it, like the facials and the way that she's talking to Otis and, despite what I've been saying about the stuff with Theory, like she's doing the best that she can. And I think that's really going to keep her around. And then obviously in the background, she could, work on her craft, but I wouldn't say that she's done wrestling. I think maybe that's just going to come up later down the line. What other relationships do we have on TV? We've got Dom and Liv.
Liv, Dom.
Maxine, Theory.
What are we calling them as a couple anyway? Maxine and Theory.
I would just say Maxine in theory.
Okay. Usually we have like some little nice, catchy little name. Like Lived On was a good one, but
Yeah, but then also that's just their names though. So
yeah,
it's
I
the
know,
same
but
as Theory Maxine.
it just rolls off the tongue much better than Theory and Maxine. So
Was there one for
like
Rhea
Max
and
Theory,
Dom?
I don't know. Not sure.
No, I don't
I
think
can't
so.
remember, but I don't think there are any other
No, it's just them two.
couples getting around besides like the real ones, like Candace and Johnny.
Yeah, I just think there is a spot for better on-screen relationships, and the Charlotte Flair of it all that interests me. I just don't know who that other half is, and I wonder, maybe that's the question this week. Maybe we'll post that on our story this week. Who would you pair Charlotte Flair with in an on-screen relationship?
Charlotte and Otis. So Otis can have his redemption arc, and then Charlotte whoops the shit out of Maxine.
I like that. I enjoy that. That's a really good one.
Also, touching on that, just before we move off the Otis of it all, they made this, like last week when they had that beat down on them, they made it seem like Otis could never get a girl like Maxine Dupree. These guys are not familiar with this man's game. This guy had Mandy Rose at one point.
Yeah.
Get familiar with this guy's game. He's, this guy don't miss.
And going back to the Soprano chat, we learned, the Tony Soprano, he was getting it left, right, and center. So there is that too.
Oh, the Gumars.
The Gumars, yes, exactly that. It was the Gumars. So yeah, maybe actually Roman is not the Tony Soprano. Maybe it's Otis. I think that's what we've decided, and maybe that's the title of this episode. Otis is the Tony Soprano of the WWE. Have we missed anything else, TF, or is that us for this week?
Well, maybe, because it says I missed the whole Saturday night's main event. I probably missed a few things, but
look, again, Tony Free, we'll put you on report, but we'll give you a break because you suffered an injury.
Saturday night's main event. I think I missed the last one as well. So,
you could just, I think you could summarize it just based off a little bit of a scroll on the internet too. So,
yeah,
that's fair enough. But mate, if you ever come back here again and you say you didn't watch any wrestling, I swear to God. Yeah. All right, that is it for another week of Graphs and Yaps. Big up my boy TF for the yaps this week, and send your love and your well wishes to him as he recovers on this weekend of not watching any wrestling.
And no spoiler alerts for the Sopranos final episode. Thank you.
God, okay. You know what? Actually, please watch it this weekend so that next week I can ask you about your thoughts on the finale. Can you do that?
Yeah, 100%. I think.
Please do that.
Yeah, we've been putting off watching this episode for too long. Like it's been I think when we realized we're up to the last 3, we've just been like slowly drip feeding through. So I think it's been about 2 weeks since we watched the second last episode. So I think we've just got to rip the Band-Aid off now and watch the last one.
Please do so. I'm very keen to hear your thoughts when we get back into it next week. So TF, rest well, enjoy your week, and I'll see you for the review next week.
We'll see you then, and hopefully Tony Soprano is still around.